cosy, decluttering, organising, working our way through the house, homemaking week in our household. I want to share with you all the systems that we have been creating in our house, that we have been implementing, that have just worked really, really well in keeping the household running smooth, pressing forwards, and keeping it relatively tidy and relatively clean. And these are simple tricks that I do almost on a daily basis, and I want to work through some of those with you, as well as chatting you through how I organise our small kitchen. We don't have a lot of space. We are planning on renovating, hopefully before Christmas time. We will start those renovations, so stay tuned for that. But we do need a lot of organisation in this space, and so there have been things that I've been implementing that have been really, really useful, and some things that absolutely have not. At the end, I will also be going through our baby setup in our bedroom, keeping it super minimal and super basic, so stay tuned for how I'm organising that, and to find out what you really do need and what you really don't need. One of the first ways that I keep our kitchen simple is by having simple ingredients. Now that starts with me learning to cook and bake and make all of our things from scratch as much as possible, to eliminate the need for the processed items in our cupboards, like packaged crisps and things like that, and snacks and all sorts that clog up the cupboards, that are absolutely unnecessary. I have found that since I have been baking and cooking our food from mostly scratch, we have really limited amount of ingredients, and we don't need cupboards for all the packaged processed things. Now we still are working our way through old packets and stuff like that of processed things, because I don't want to just waste it all and throw it all away. But by having simple ingredients like flour and oats and oil and sugar and salt and syrups and things like that I can use to make a lot of different things, keeping it down to a minimum has been really useful. Now in the background here we have a Costco haul, and that's what's clogging up all the counter space at the moment. And I do also really like to buy in bulk, and that is one thing that I will prioritize in our kitchen, even though it's really small. We don't have, I say the kitchen's really small. It's not that small, and I'm very thankful to have the space that I do. Sometimes it can feel quite cramped. But the Costco haul, I like to buy things in bulk, even when budget's tight, even when we don't have a lot of space, because I find that, especially making food from scratch, I do need a lot of ingredients, and I make my way through a lot of potatoes, a lot of onions, a lot of flour, a lot of sugar, a lot of chocolate chips for baking, and all of these things. So I do find that buying in bulk works the best for us. Sometimes that's a struggle because I have to battle the cupboards and trying to fit everything in, but it is absolutely worth it. And so limiting what we eat and keeping it simple has been a great way to simplify our kitchen, as well as the obvious one, which is decluttering. I like to use pretty bowls and pretty things for baking and cooking and eating with, and so I try not to keep the other clubber that is unnecessary and just use the nice pretty things instead of trying to use plastic stuff and keep both, and I'm slowly making my way through all the things that I do and don't want to keep. I think in our Pinterest world we think we need to keep everything in nice pretty jars, but I would actually say that sometimes that can be more tricky, because you end up keeping oats in a jar like I did earlier, but then having half bags full of oats that you're not actually getting to. and that you're storing as well as the other jar of oats, which is not actually very helpful. So I would relieve yourself of the pressure to fit everything into nice pretty jars and store it really well. Just store it in a way that works well for your family and that you can easily access. I do find that keeping a small amount of flour in a larger jar works well, so I don't have to pull down the big bag of flour every single time. But it's just about finding the ways that work best for you. Another way that we have simplified and created routines in our house is by making sure that we're actually eating through the food that we have in the cupboards. And so that means not just continuously buying new things that we need for a new recipe or new things we're going to try, but to see what's already in the cupboards and create a meal plan based on what we already have. So even if I have sort of a random herb, a random spice in the cupboard, I will try and think of a meal to use that up and then buy accordingly and not waste anything. But I also, on the other side of that, I will give you permission to throw it away if it's taking up so much room in your kitchen and it's been there for a few months to a year to a few years. I give you permission to throw it away. You don't have to worry about it too much. Try doing the meal planning thing to reduce down on waste, but really you don't have to keep everything and you can let it go. I've been trying to keep our coat storage here down to a minimum, which has really helped the flow of leaving the house and getting ready to go. I like to keep one coat per person and Josh a pair of shoes down here. I like to take mine away and put them upstairs most of the time, and then the kids have a small shoe rack that they pick their shoes from. But I like to keep one coat per child really, and maybe a thick jumper, and then one coat per person, and that is just really helping to keep this area flowing. This won't be in the renovation, I don't think, and so I'm gonna have to find new ways to store our coats, maybe in an understairs cupboard. But for now, this has been working well, just making sure I'm continuously going through. I think that is one thing. Sometimes we think we organise a space and then that's it, it's done, I can tick it off my list forever and then feel good about myself, which you absolutely can, it's great to do that. But the reality is we need to keep eating our way through these projects and not just neglect them for a really long time, but maybe on a weekly or monthly basis, just have a look, spend 30 seconds going through something. All of these things don't have to take a lot of time. You can just spend 30 seconds to a minute or two here and there when you have it to just go through, declutter, move something. Sometimes I like to pick the 5-item rule. If I'm overwhelmed by a space, and I know I need to do something in that space, then I will just pick up 5 items and put them exactly where they need to go. Not close to where they need to go, not nearly there, but exactly in the place. Another way I have been simplifying our house and making the systems work really well for us, and I've been doing this one for a few years now. That is to make sure that I'm getting stuff done in the morning. So even before coffee, before breakfast, I will always try and do a couple of things to start the day off well. I think as stay-at-home mums, the day can get ahead of us if we're not, if we're waking up to screaming and jumping kids on us and all of these things, and then they're really hungry and it's getting them dressed and then we're not dressed, and life can just happen to us very easily with kids. And so I really like to try and stay on top of it just a little bit. It doesn't happen when I'm this pregnant all the time. The past few weeks I have been a little bit more relaxed on this, and that's okay. I think we all go through different seasons, but for the most part I like to wake up and empty the dishwasher and start a load of laundry and make sure that the house is kind of ready for the day for the kids to come downstairs. Now, I do know people that do this in the evening, so they do a kitchen close down. I do try and do that as well. Again, over the past few weeks, I have not been doing that so well because I've been so tired and just needing to go and rest. And then my husband's been doing it, but slightly different to how I would, which is okay. And so I catch up in the morning. But making sure that I have done a few things to start off well. Otherwise, after breakfast, once the kids are fed and we all have happy tummies, I end up spending an hour, sometimes even longer, because of the interruptions with kids and the time that they require as well after breakfast. I end up spending a long time just trying to get through cleaning up after breakfast and emptying the dishwasher and getting a load of laundry in. And so it's really nice when that's done prior to all of these, the breakfast tasks, the school tasks, the everything that we need to get done pre 10 o'clock in the morning. Along with that, I have been putting my time into blocks during the day, and I have also been doing this for a few years, and so I can say that it does work, but it's a matter of looking at your day in time blocks. And so my first block of time when I'm on it and doing well is that starts between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. and that's my first chunk of time, and I will dedicate certain tasks to those few hours. And then as soon as 7 o'clock rolls around, I know it's time for me to get dressed. It's time for me to get ready for the day, get the kids up, get them changed, make the bed, go downstairs and do the rest of the day. And that next block of time is about between 7 and 10. And then from 10 o'clock, chores tend to be pretty much done, hopefully. But from 10 to about 12, I try and dedicate myself to the kids and to what they need, or activities outside, getting out of the house and doing the things that we need to do. And then it's nap time for us there's lunchtime, then there's nap time. But I won't go into the full detail of my day, but it is very important to me to break up the schedules in our day and dedicate myself to certain tasks. And so when I put down YouTube and editing at 7 a.m. in the morning, I won't pick it up again until my next time block says so. And that's just quite a nice strict rule, to not bringing things that are unnecessary into different parts of our day and cause us more stress. This is our minimalist baby setup. I can do a dedicated video for those that require it, but for now what I'll share with you is I'm using this fantastic green caddy I recently purchased on Amazon. I will link it down below for you guys. It's super sturdy and has lots and lots of room in it. And I'm just loading it up with some nappies and wipes and a muslin for the nighttime feeds and for that postpartum season. Now, lots of people go crazy on this and they do huge postpartum baskets with snacks and all sorts of faffy things that I really just don't think I'm going to need. Honestly, if I need a snack, I'll go and get one from the kitchen. I'd just like you to know that you don't need a lot. I might put a onesie in here at night, but that's pretty much our setup, good to go. And I will let you know how this turns out. I'm excited about this cot next to us. It's a new purchase for this baby, and I will let you know how that goes. I will link it down below for you guys too, but so far it's working really well, even though there's no baby in it. So I will keep you updated as and when. Thanks so much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. God bless, may the Lord keep you and make his face shine upon you.